Well, never.
Yeah, because did you put an ordinance in for the grass being shut out into the street?
Correct.
All right.
And people have been notified.
Okay.
Nobody's been fined, but they have, yeah, notified several people.
Because my neighbor does that every single time, and when we rain, then all the grass comes down to the alley.
I don't think any of us want to be contentious. We just want to make sure that you understand that we're concerned about the appearance of our town, and if you would take the steps necessary to improve the appearance, I think we'd all be happy. I think that's what you need to do.
I have one thing that I wanted to bring up that a citizen brought to me and said that they understand the, trying to make the town look nicer, but they also said the town doesn't have a welcoming, like a welcome kit or, welcome wagon, chamber, or anybody going to see them.
Most towns don't have them. Small towns, bigger towns do. But then sometimes you don't even get those because if you don't have a mail.
Exactly.
But they thought that that would be something, like who can you get to do this type of work, and who can, because a lot of that is you have to ask around, and they just thought that it would be nice to have something like that.
Somehow
Just bringing up what people have brought to me.
Somehow we have to create a pride in our town. Yeah, I mean, fines doesn't make people have more pride, it just makes them irritated.
Gene,
Yeah, I was trying to explain that just a little bit ago, got interrupted. But in order to find someone, you have to find them guilty of a violation. We have to have a rule that says this is it. For instance, if I can pick on Ray, he's got pretty thick skin. His building would have to be declared, attractive nuisance, a dangerous situation, health hazard. We have certain phrases we can do. Okay, so we have to inspect that and declare
Health,
it.
safety, or fire.
Because of the conflict of interest, we cannot do that because we're on the cost. So we have to bring an inspector in from out of town, pay the extra money, and have it declared, whatever he finds, and then, yes, it could be done. And we do a lot of these things that, don't always show. We've got our cop, we only have a cop for a couple of days a week, but he's worked real hard on that list that you people brought in, and he's made some very good suggestions on how to go about things, which we've been lacking, is the mechanics of how do we go about it. Now, we spent quite a lot of money trying to condemn a house, and now the owner has appeared at the council meeting, promised to do this and that, there's progress being made. So it's not like we're doing nothing, but yes, more things need to be done. Trees, in the past, I think neighbors have always been able to handle their own trees.
No,
They don't have to
no,
buy.
No.
Well, I would hope, okay, ideally,
My husband spent
Ideally, we would
45 years
hope that
trimming
neighbors
trees
could get
around
along
our
with
place
it.
so they'd be clear over our house and
Okay.
everything if he didn't
and when
trim
they
them.
don't, then the homeowner has to come in, file a grievance, and then we have to go out and declare it. But yes, the mechanics are there.
well, that's a civil deal, though. That's really.
Yeah, it's really a civil deal. I don't know that we do have mechanics.
We don't get involved in the neighbor deal,
Just
unless there's a city
He
code
is gonna
involved.
trim that.
Well,
big
yeah,
pin that's
but I
in
mean,
our house as soon as
I
he
think
can
it's a little
fix our
different
house
nowadays than it was.
on that.
Well, I was
Some-
waiting to see when that.
That's the point, it's not. I mean,
Someone brought up Semco, some deal that Battle Creek had brought in, and it's, I've never heard anything good about it at Battle Creek. When they first initiated it, they had a citizen that had a building as you went into Battle Creek from the east on the north side of 175. It ended up about 7 different colors. And none of them really got along well with each other. It's really kind of didn't work there, from what I've told. Donnie Thompson's got a niece, Deb's got a niece that lived down there, and they actually spent a lot of money to do the same thing as we're trying to do without spending money. Telling people they have to do this whether they like it or not. Basically, that's what Simcoe does. They don't come in and tear buildings down or anything like that.
I work with a lady that lives in Arthur, and they use Simcoe, and she said they were very pleased with how it affected the town. And she said, yes, it did cost money, but what they got from it was that it was uniform across the board. Everybody got treated the same. It wasn't what your name was or who you were.
You think it's that way here?
Yes, definitely. Definitely who you are.
You don't think maybe there could be some names on the list that came here that aren't?
Say that again.
Some residence places, business places, whatever,
There weren't names.
that aren't on this list?
I have no idea.
But there weren't names on the list, so I don't know who they are.
Well,
But that's what she said, is that in a smaller town, it was, they felt fair.
well, Arthur's always been a very clean town. I'm sure.
Well, apparently
Schaller
they must
used
have
to
had their
be.
issues because they did pay to have that done. in
I think-
Arthur.
Pretty near everybody that lives in Arthur owns the home they live in. Don't have a lot of landlords down there.
I think there's a problem in here and other little towns. You see the worst when you go through town, and that's true here. You see the worst part of
If you're driving from Holstein over here, or you're driving up on Highway 20 coming up, or coming from 110,
It's every direction.
there's property that should be.
Well, ultimately, it boils down, I mean, whether you guys like it or not, you've got the power to do something.
That's right.
And ultimately, what it boils down to is that if people don't have, I think it's a shame we even have a meeting like this, because people should have enough self-pride to take care of it themselves. And this town's got a lot going for it. I mean, we got a strong bank, we got a telephone company that I drive through every little town in Iowa, and we got a business up here people would die for that employs a lot of people. We go up and down Main Street, we got viable businesses. I mean, there's not many towns our size has that. So ultimately, I mean, if we don't have enough self-pride to govern ourselves as individuals and keep it clean, then it's got to fall on somebody's shoulders to give them an ultimatum. And I wasn't a part of this original thing, but I'm here for a different reason. But I mean, the bottom line is that you guys have the power to do something. And I think that's, from what I gather, that's what they're asking.
That's right.
And I don't, it should be a level playing field. I mean, Ray, I don't care who you are. If you're not up to standard, well, your name should go on the list. And if it involves an inspection, and then you have to bring in outside people and it costs money, that should just be part of the fine.
That's right.
That expense. Anyway, I think we do. We got a lot going for us here. A lot of little towns don't have.
I heard just the other day a lady saying about this list and stuff. She said, I'll start pulling weeds when the mayor knocks his building down, or I'll pull weeds when so-and-so else on the council does it. You got to set an example here. That's what we were saying last week.
Everybody should have enough pride
That's
to
right.
take care of their
But
stuff.
they got to start, setting an example too.
And if they don't, then there should be consequences.
That's right.
Had these been enforced all these years, there probably wouldn't be the problem now.
It takes years for a tree to grow up in the middle
But
of
we
the
don't have
sidewalk,
copy
so I have
enforcement.
them to go on. Where trucks go by to get home.
Well, you have to drive on the street.
Yeah, I
Because I
do,
see you in the morning.
because there's a tree in the middle of the sidewalk. Although the sidewalk isn't in that good a shape, but the tree does kinda.
On Second Street?
Oh, I don't think it's fair to say they've never been enforced. I also don't think it's fair to say that if they were all completely enforced today, that everybody would be satisfied. Because I don't think current ordinances go as far as some people would like to see the city go. historically, those ordinances that have been enforced, we have encouraged, I guess, voluntary compliance with them. Historically, we've had a police officer that's gone to all those residents that were in violation of our code and asked them to correct whatever needed to be corrected. And for the most part, if mowing needed to be done, it got done. There's been a few properties, and we mentioned those last meeting, like the Litzenberg house, that the city had to take additional steps to get things taken care of. We tried to get voluntary compliance. We also tried to make it a fairly inexpensive process. Every time we've changed police officers, there's been a little bit of a drop here or there. Every police officer addresses it differently. Our existing police officer says we need an inspector in order to be able to do certain things. But he also mentions that half the properties or more on your list are not in violation of existing code. And so that's what I've tried to make clear. Do you want us to enforce the existing code, or do you want the code changed? Because the code doesn't address some of the things that you guys are bringing up.